I don't have one rule for guitars, but I do have a one rule for guitars. What does this mean? I think you should only have one guitar of the same variety, and I will tell you why. Personally, I have been in this position, and I think many of us have encountered this. You have one guitar that you particularly love, so you go looking for something in the same vein. This Strat was my main guitar for many years, and all the time I was looking for an additional Strat to accompany it. But I still own the OG, and I don't own any other Strat anymore. The one from the opening clip was my wife's. The reason for this is pretty simple. None of those other Strats sounded or played like my favorite Stratocaster. As a result, those guitars end up in your guitar stand, waiting for that rare moment during a show where you break a string. And eventually they get sold because you never use them, because they're not like your favorite guitar. So now we're full circle. And still, I keep doing it sometimes. As you might know if you've seen my first video, I recently purchased this Epiphone Les Paul Custom. And basically it's the same thing. I love my Gibson Les Paul so much that I wanted more of it, but instead of buying a Gibson, I bought an Epiphone that only costs a fourth of the Gibson. But still, I would pick the Gibson over the Epiphone any day. So why did I get it? Is there an exception to the one guitar rule? Yes, there are some exceptions, but it's a very fine line. So what's the exception with these two Les Pauls? You can see the visual difference, but besides that, both have upgraded pickups and both are very different. The Gibson I use in E flat with my band as a main guitar. The Epiphone will be used in standard tuning for other projects, but also in E flat as a backup for my Gibson. The difference between these two Les Pauls is even bigger. The Junior has a single P90, a wraparound bridge, a double cut and no carved top. It's a totally different animal. And something similar can be said about these two SGs. And while they're all the same model, they sound different, or they play different, or they fill a different purpose. So, if you're thinking about getting two similar guitars at the same time, just try to remember this and know that it's a slippery slope. For one person it can work to have two Fender Telecasters at the same time, just with a different type of wood on the fretboard, and for the other person, two Fender scale-length guitars can be too much already. I have owned two similar guitars at the same time to fill the same purpose, and the outcome was always the same. One eventually always got sold, unless you're a collector of course. Just try to make sure that if you want to get a second guitar of the same model, that the second one is different enough or fills a different purpose. For instance, get a second SG that you use for open tuning and slide work, or get a second Les Paul with P90s instead of humbuckers. Unless you're purposely trying to upgrade, of course. But I have been selling way more guitars in my lifetime than necessary, simply because I wanted more of the same thing and I never got that. So don't make the same mistake. Let me know in the comments below if you had any experiences like this. And of course, like, subscribe, and please hit the bell icon. See you next time.